Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said. A look at the world from a seasoned black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and welcome to our Friday, July the 21st show. I hope all of you have had a great week. I know that we have been so busy. And before I move forward, I want to ask you guys, did you catch us on Ask Alma live on Tuesday? If you didn't, you missed a great time, ladies and gentlemen. We had so much fun, and I want to thank Alma for having us on the show. Our show tonight, Let's Get Newsy XI. That's right. There is so much going on, and we have Bobby is back, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to get down with the get down, and bring some news to you guys tonight. So first and foremost, one ticket was sold in California that matched all six of the winning lottery numbers, ladies and gentlemen. One ticket for a whopping $1.8 billion was won by one person. But there were 39 other tickets that were sold for $1 million. The winning ticket was sold in Los Angeles at Las Palomas Mini Market on Wall Street. It's the third largest Powerball jackpot ever and became the sixth largest U.S. jackpot that has been told to us. The winner will also have the cash option of $558.1 million, ladies and gentlemen. So kudos to whoever that is, whoever they are. If you guys are wondering why I am dressed in pink, it's because black men look good in pink. How y'all feeling? Yeah, do I look good in pink? All right, but no, seriously, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the movie Barbie. It opens in theaters, ladies and gentlemen. And, this brand has been around for an extremely long time. And director Greta Gerwig, and she did the screenplay, and she wrote this with Noah Baumbach. And it's based on the Barbie fashion doll by Mattel. It has a boatload of celebrities in the show or in the movie, and one of them is Margot Robbie, who's playing Barbie, and Ryan Gosling, who I happen to like. He was in La La Land, and I'm a musical guy, so he was absolutely incredible. He's playing Ken, but most importantly, Issa Rae is in the movie, and she's playing President Barbie. Okay, so hopefully you guys will get out and put some pink on and go check it out. Think pink. Um, I have to congratulate some congratulatory announcements to make. I want to first congratulate Pamela A. Smith, the first Black female police chief in Washington, D.C. She was appointed by Mayor Bowser. She used to be with the U.S. Park Police and the D.C. and police force now. She's very familiar with the police force now, and we're hoping that she's going to come in and do some great things. She's walking into DC when the violence is at one of its highest rates, and even police officers, they're down, they're retiring or leaving the force or whatever. But we're going to wish her well and hope that she can clean up this city because Lord knows we need it. And on another congratulatory note, I would love to congratulate my brother, Magic Johnson. He is now one of the owners of the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders sold for $6.5 billion yesterday. And, I saw Magic Johnson on TV today in an interview with Craig Melvin, and he cried. He cried, and he was just so humble about, being Black and having this opportunity. And for some of you who don't know, I'm sure there was a point in Magic Johnson's life where he didn't even think that he would be here today because he's been living with HIV for such a long time. But he's an amazing person, and kudos to him. And I want to ask you guys before I move on, what would you like to see change now that Magic Johnson is now the owner of the Commanders? Is there anything that you'd like to see change that wasn't there before? For me, I wanted to go back to, I wanted to come to Washington, and I wanted to go to RFK Stadium, and I'm sure the residents wouldn't want that, but that's what I would like for it to do. So kudos to Magic Johnson and the Commanders. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this time real quick. I need to be transparent with you. Something has happened, and I just wanted to come to you and again be transparent and share with you before you hear about it from anybody else. Today, I broke up with Cable. Okay. Cable and I have relinquished our relationship, ladies and gentlemen. It was long. I'm late to the party, but I am now a Fire Stick guy. And I have literally gone from $3,000 approximately per year to $195 a year. And I'm just saying, if I can do it, you can do it. It was scary, but Cable and I are no longer in a relationship. So I want to tell you all, if I can get my life right, you can too. All right. So getting on with the show, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the chat. And so I can. Hello.
We're here.
Hello.
You broken up with Cable. You didn't tell anybody.
Bobby, it was, I wanted to tell you all on Monday during the call, but
you did not.
I couldn't. I was verklempt the whole time during the show. But again, I'm the one who's usually late to the party, but it's over. It's over. No, I'm done with
need to talk to you about that because I'm really thinking about it. Because like you said, it's a lot of money. And when I think about how much time I'm not watching television.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, I got a streaming service for you. That's all I have to say.
We'll talk.
And we will talk because I literally had to have someone else to, show me the ropes. And so, but it's done. We're over.
When you do, will you write a letter to the cable companies and tell them that the reason why you're canceling is because of the way that actors and writers are being mistreated?
I will do that. I will do that.
And just tell them that. Yeah. So you guys need to learn how to pay actors and writers, and therefore I am canceling.
And trying to AIing people and all that kind of. It's like, stop that. Pay people for their work.
Mm-hmm. And what's ironic in you saying that, I that is happening at this time. You know what I'm saying, Vash? So, well, you know what, Vash, you always you're like GE. You bring good things to light. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this moment to wish our brother Vash a happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, his birthday was yesterday. Look at him.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Look at you.
Look at you.
Did you do anything like that you could tell us on air?
I can, and it's important because I spent the entire day doing two things. One I'm not going to talk about, but the other one I spent doing things that are helping to manifest a dream that I articulated a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. Okay. And circumstances are presenting themselves in such a way that with just a couple of quick pivots, I'm going to see a couple of really big dreams come true. And all I can say is, look, if your mind can conceive it, your body can achieve it. And that's how I spent my birthday. And I want to thank both of you for helping make my birthday really super special. You put things out into the universe that helped things come back to me in ways that I super duper appreciate. And if I don't say it enough, I love you both. I cherish the time that we get to spend together. I love what we create every Friday night. And I really, really, really do appreciate you a lot. And you too, Bobby.
Hello, Monica. Hello, George. Thank you guys for being here.
And you too, Bobby.
And you too, Bobby.
I do. I adore you. So, I hope that's clear each and every week.
One finger is missing. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you know what?
I love you, Vash.
Y'all got me. I'm bringing a fan down here the next time, okay? Because y'all got me sweating. Hey, look.
We do want to wish you a happy birthday, and as I put on my social media post, like ours is such an unexpected friendship and brotherhood. Like, who would have ever guessed that this show would have facilitated this bond? And and despite the restraining order I have against you,
Do you know what the worst thing about a restraining order is?
Uh-oh.
the other person doesn't know about it. So I will see you in 20 minutes.
Where are we going for dinner? Well,
Exactly.
as long as you're 90 feet away from it, it can be anywhere.
It's okay. It's
If
okay.
you don't tell
Send this over to
nobody,
him. Let him taste it.
nobody will know. Okay, keep it quiet. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we want to for the chat. I asked Bobby and Vash to indulge me on something. We have a couple of clips that we want to show you, two to be exact, and we want to get your take on them. Because they both caught my attention. So if we could roll this first clip, please.
And get those fingers ready, people. We're looking for audience feedback.
Now, hopefully you all can see this.
Good.
Can we play that one more time? Is it possible to play that
hilarious.
one more time, just to so that the audience can see it?
That's hilarious.
Maybe I will eat it now that I thought.
Now, so my question to you guys and for our viewers, is this parental psychology or is this child abuse? Or is this, is child cruelty? What how do you feel about this clip?
Well, what did he do to the child?
Well, I've had some people tell me that the child is now traumatized. By it. That there's a possibility that the child, might walk around beating up stuffed animals, that the child could never go to what is it, Disney? Is that where Mickey is? Yeah, could not go to Mickey. The child, could possibly feel that if he or she does not eat their food anymore, that they would get beat up. So okay. I've heard that. Yeah. So me personally, I thought it was a creative way to sometimes you have to show children things.
Yes.
And I thought that was an opportunity for him to do that. I didn't judge him on that.
So as a middle child, I was able to see what punishment my sister got for doing certain things. And I didn't necessarily learn not to do them. I learned to do them with greater discretion. So there was learning that would happen there. And we saw it immediately that the child realized, I will eat what is given to me. I've seen that same experiment done with animals, and it's had the exact same effect.
Funny you said that. I didn't think about this, but I'm a middle child too.
Are you serious? Are three of us middle? I'm a middle.
You're a middle? Oh my gosh. Wow.
In the middle. I'm gonna put that on our next advertising clip. In the middle. I saw what happened to my brothers and my sister. And I adapted a way of not doing that. Or like you said, doing it in a way. Well, no, I didn't even do it because I was afraid that if I got caught, what happened to them was going to happen to me.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was a good way.
I love it. I think it's super creative. I think that he got the point across, and now the child is eating. There's been no damage to the child. The child just knows that there are consequences for certain behavior. And I just feel bad for that Mickey because it is not going to make it to that child's 4th birthday. Especially
if he decides not to eat the broccoli next time, okay, because he would just get it. And before we move on, because I don't know where the viewers, you guys watched it. How do you guys feel about it? But Bobby, how do you feel about it? Because you are sitting there with your hand over your mouth, and I know that look. So, and I'm not going to force you to say anything. But
I'm not a child psychologist. I think that there is something to be said about the potential for a bit of trauma, seeing your stuffed animal pulverized. But I do believe that when I saw it, if I'm to be honest, I laughed when I first saw it. I was like, it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat now. But as I said, I'm not a child psychologist, and I would certainly never suggest any kind of intentional trauma towards a child. As a middle child, I, like you know, I watched my brother do things. I saw him get consequences for it, and like you, Vash, I was like, I may do that, but I'm not going to do it that way because I
that way
that happened. So, but you know,
well, thank you. I think, you know, if I do get a niece and nephew who doesn't want to pay attention to me, most of my nieces and nephews have and do pay attention to me, so I don't have to worry about that. But that was a cute idea.
it was.
I thought it was
cute.
I laughed at it.
It was.
So okay, thank you guys. Well, I have one more clip that I saw this week, and it was an experiment, and I wanted you guys to see it because I think it was worth discussing.
Okay.
So here we go.
Wait a minute. What?
Oh.
Yeah, I found this very interesting. What I'm finding here is kind of the level of disgust that people are showing being touched by a Black person. And as well, let's watch it through, and I think it's almost done.
And I think it's the same, you know, type of well, you know, it's the same type of scenario for, you know, throughout the clip. But I'm gonna, as much as I found it disturbing, and I saw the, you know, the level of what do you call it? God, I'm trying to find my word. The level of I keep saying hate, or the level of just disconnect from having a black person touch you, you know, in public like that. I also looked at myself and said, if anybody walked up to me and touched me like that, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to, you know, jump or, you know, not be so forthright myself, you know. So, but it was disturbing to watch that.
Yeah, and just because we do have a following on podcast, I want to just describe what it is. It was two different people pretending to be blind or being blind, a Black person and a white person, walking up and grabbing people by the elbow as if they needed assistance with finding their way. And consistently with the white person, although people might have been surprised, they eventually were willing to grab the person, allow the person to hold on to them and continue walking. But consistently across the board with the Black person, people recoiled. They had really negative reactions. A couple of people like tried to wipe the touch of the Black person off of them and continued moving. Samuel said it's business as usual, anti-Blackness.
Yeah, it's discouraging. I wish that I could say it was surprising. It is not. I think anti-Blackness in America is a very real thing, as much as we try to deny its presence in our society. And there are so many instances of validation of this, whether it be this example of a blind person, because in each instance, we're talking about people who are dealing with a disability of sorts and seeking assistance. And the consistency of the way that they respond to the white person versus that of the Black person, whether it's the notion of how children respond to dolls of different color, whether realtors respond differently to, you know, when people show up for an apartment. The evidence is solidly embedded and entrenched in the American society and around the world, because even when you encounter people from different cultures and nations, they will often want to be identified as anything other than Black because of the stereotypes and the perceptions about what that embodies. And the irony of it, of course, is the way that people respond to it. And yet, arguably, no other culture is emulated or appropriated as much as Black culture.
Yeah. It took, oh, go ahead, Vash. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I know this was two guys who were blind, and it was a very targeted piece of research, but I still get, walking into an elevator sometimes, depending on what I have on, and white women grabbing their pocketbooks and pulling it close to them.
Absolutely.
Like, right. So I still get that. So, and the word that I was looking for was repulsed. They seem to be repulsed when the Black person grabbed them. What does Rodney say here?
He says, I was disgusted initially. However, I thought about coming out of the pandemic and being really annoyed by someone that I don't know touching me. It is highly unusual for a blind person to walk up to a stranger and touch them for assistance. I agree. One of the things that I was disappointed by the clip is that they did not show, and Samuel said, what if the Black person was light-skinned? I thought about that too.
Very good. Or female.
Right? Female, right.
One of the things that I was disappointed by the clip and the experiment is that they didn't show a Black person going up and touching another Black person to see if, part of what you were saying, Bobby, that even Black people have a thing against Black people. I would have liked to have seen a way more expansive experiment of this, but it was disturbing. And Alvin, just to your point, I was in New York at the Westin, went into an elevator. There were 3 white women. I walked in. I saw their reaction, and they were getting ready to get out until the people that I was with, who happened to be 3 white men, walked in, and we were all exchanging. And then I watched them relax. So it's, and I got to a glass elevator. So it wasn't like it was enclosed. As soon as we would have lifted up, everyone would have seen us. But still, that reaction to Blackness.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. How differently do you think that this experiment might have gone if the people that were being approached were Black and the blind person was white? Do you think Black people would have responded the same way?
There was one of those examples. There was a Black person where the white guy went up to, and
the guy who had on a matching short set.
Yeah, I saw one, but what I'm saying is more of a more extensive. Do you think
mean if it was Black people
would be more inclined to allow a white person to would they respond with the same level of revulsion? I'm sorry.
I think most Black people would. I to be honest with you,
would be helpful or respond with repulsion.
Oh no, I think they would respond with repulsion. Being this climate that we live in right now, but again, that's my thought. I would have to see it. I can't go on Jeopardy and expect to win with that answer. But
we are a polarized society right now along issues of race. So I mean,
I think, I would love to see that. Again, it wasn't a good experiment to the degree of us seeing a well-rounded, what do you call it, experiment of how it could, of the different races, the age, the sexes, we didn't see all of that.
Yeah.
But as far as, what we did see,
right,
is something that, again, is not surprising, but it is disturbing.
Well, David also echoed and said that, he suggested that, culturally we care and we would be more inclined to be of assistance to someone. So thank you for that feedback, David.
Thank you, my church brother. Thank you, David. Yes. See.
Now, talking about race, is it okay for me to get us?
It is okay. You go do what you do. You do what you do.
Hey, all right. Okay. So speaking of issues of race and so forth, I talked about how, racism is really embedded in many aspects of American society. Here is another tangible example. We have a MIT student who was working with AI to really try to ask, getting ready to go out there for the job search and so forth, and ask for kind of like, advice on how to make her profile image more professional. She did it, and AI responded very clearly. It responded by one, making her skin lighter and giving her blue eyes.
Dang.
So the program, which is programmed by people, because you can't just look at AI and blame AI. AI is developed. And so the bias of the people who were developing the AI is profound and centered here, in that professionalism is defined by lighter skin and blue eyes. So here it took an Asian person, a person of Asian ancestry, and literally made her skin lighter and gave her blue eyes, but she requested a more professional headshot.
Wow.
That's deep.
Wow, that is deep. You know, was that the site that she went to?
Well, you know, obviously, yes, you could say that, you know, it was that particular site, but it raises the question as to whether or not, as in many aspects of American society, will the racism that is part of our current society also infiltrate AI in this way? Because it's the whole notion of,
Right.
if I want to look more professional, what do I need to do, is what she was basically asked. And it's basic. So for anybody who has less than light skin and not blue eyes,
then your chances of getting a job is like no.
or being seen
or
as
being seen. Right.
Right.
Which goes back to legislation around things like the Crown Act, around hair, what, you know, like all those things. What defines professionalism? And I know that we have standards around that, but if we are to designate professionalism as only having light skin and blue eyes, that leaves a whole lot of us out of the picture.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think it was programmed that way, or is it perhaps a reaction that AI has to the information that it's been given access to, right? I mean,
you're suggesting that it did that based upon an algorithm?
Or based on what it maybe has seen and learned, based on treatment, based on profiles of people that exist in positions of power versus non, etc. Right?
And it's problematic.
I mean, no matter what. But I'm just saying, like, as opposed to thinking that there are some people sitting down programming that in versus telling it, go out, look at all of this material, which is still problematic because it doesn't get access to everything.
Right.
To say, find what is professional or what is mainstream or what, you know, because what would I would have loved it if she had said, make me a successful pop star, or give me a more hip hop look. You know, it'd be interesting to see that experiment, to see how it. Yeah.
I think it's a very valid question, but in the end, for me, it's just very concerning because we all are seeking employment and we need to live. And if AI is now following in the footsteps of those who only see professionalism through an extremely narrow lens, it's problematic because AI is building and growing in terms of its presence in all aspects of what we do. I mean, just the other day, even just something as simple as taking my credit card and putting it on a thing and tapping and being able to move on. Like, who would have ever imagined that level? You know, so I just know that given the growth of the presence, if it's already demonstrating acts of or a lens of racist behavior.
So what would have been the ideal response to that AI when she said, show me a professional version of myself?
I would have assumed that it would have, like, because she's in a sweatshirt. If we look at the image, she's in like a MIT sweatshirt and all that kind of stuff. I would think maybe it'd give her a more professional outfit. Maybe, you know, do something a little more with the hair, or, maybe apply a little bit more makeup, but not change who she is. That's what my concern is. It didn't alter or enhance the person that existed. Those are two different people. When you look at those two different, like, it changed her from who she is. So AI has just told her, you can't be professional being who you are.
You'd be better off white, even if your eyes were more crooked.
Right. Yeah, see, you know what?
That is why I have the restraining order, folks. That's what. There it is.
Bobby, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I definitely want to no, I want to have this conversation to go a little deeper because you went to Howard University.
I did.
And you know the history about Howard University years ago about the dark skin, light skin, the brown paper bag.
Yes.
And this is kind of segued for me into a conversation about where we used to be. And I'm singling out Howard because I live here. I know the story, but I'm sure we can find other avenues to have that discussion. But what AI is doing, it's almost like I've seen it done. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make it right.
No.
But a wider discussion needs to be had on that, because now you got me sitting back wanting to take this jacket off and just talk about that.
I would never suggest anything to make you take off your pink jacket. I wouldn't do that. I'm your boy. I would not do that. Ken.
Well, thank you so much. Are you guys ready to get on with our top stories tonight?
Yes, but can we say hi to Kay? Because Kay and I have the same birthday. Hi, Kay.
Hey, Kay. Happy birthday.
And hi, Shannon. Hi, Judy.
Let's drink to Kay.
Hi, Shannon. Judy, did we formally say hi to David? Hey, David. Thank you all for joining us tonight. For being in the house.
Judy?
Y'all know it's Vash's birthday. Hey, Rodney. Y'all know it is. Okay, so
and it's Judy's birthday month. So happy birthday month, Judy.
Ronnie's like, I can't type fast enough. I got so many points to make on this topic.
Well, Rodney, you know what? Rodney, do what you do, and we will circle back. But let's get on with our top stories tonight, ladies and gentlemen. One of the top stories that has been dominating the headlines this week is about a young lady by the name of Carly Russell in Alabama. Carly Russell, a 25-year-old nursing student, vanished for 49 hours beginning on July the 13th after calling 911 and a family member to report a child walking alone along I-459 in Hoover, Alabama. While on the phone, though, with her family member and police, said she screamed and was no longer responding. The family member called the police, and they arrived to the scene to find her car and her wig, her cell phone and purse nearby, as well as an Apple Watch. The Hoover police said that after they've investigated this, they found that she had Googled about the movie Taken and about Amber Alerts.
Yeah.
Okay. When I first heard the story, the fact that she came home in Alabama on a dark street, 48 hours, and she walked up into their house, I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something is fishy about this story. And I immediately, not to bring up old news, but I went back to Jussie Smollett. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I did, But her family, of course, their family, so you got to stick by, whatever. Your child. But something was wrong. Something was wrong. And they said the call she made was the length. She drove the length of 3 football fields.
I don't get it.
You don't get the football field piece?
Yeah, I don't get the significance of her driving and the length of the message.
It's not adding up that she saw this little kid and yet the signal was moving, suggesting like the length of 3 football fields. Like it was like, if you saw a kid running around, you wouldn't drive that far.
Okay.
Away from where you reported what you saw. The kid couldn't have moved that fast.
Okay.
Do you think she's, and they said there was no indication of alcohol or any type of mental illness going on with her? And David says 6 football fields. Okay, so she was longer.
Good distance.
A good distance.
Yeah. It's concerning. It's concerning on a lot of ways, and I think mental health is very real. I think people can make some really bad decisions, and not that. I think a lot of people make bad decisions, but are not necessarily in the public eye in this way. When she did what she did, she called upon public resources in a way, and it's unfortunate because again, so often, again, when we look at the American system, people of color who are actually missing are often not sought in the same way, or not, and so I don't think it necessarily reflects on the entire culture. I think it's mostly on her, but I know the implications of people using this as an example of us not being seriously taken. There's often that comparison.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I think more is being revealed about it, but it was very calculated. She had a boyfriend. They called him. He didn't know where she was. But again, for me, the story just went, for her to come back home 48 hours with just a scratch on her lip.
And I think a couple of $100 in a sock or something. It
was like, wow. Okay. But she made headlines, okay, this week, ladies and gentlemen. So we wanted to, David says mental illness is real. And, brother, I will not deny that. I will not deny that. And Rodney says mental health crisis can manifest in many ways. But I've had this conversation with Vash and Bobby, so I want to have it with you guys right now. We're, as a society right now, we are so quick to say that someone is mentally ill when they do something of this magnitude. And again, evil comes into play. Some people are just evil. Some people just are, seeking attention. And is that what I should associate mental illness with? Seeking attention? You know what I'm saying?
Narcissism is an example of mental instability, though. That you have to do something of this magnitude to receive attention. That is not the behavior of a stable person.
But I mean, she didn't anticipate that her family would make it this thing that was all over the internet and the news. I think that she might have thought that she could get away with doing whatever she was going away to do and have an alibi built in, correct? Or am I missing part of the story?
I disagree, because I'm like, if you call your parents and say, see this child, then they hear you scream, and then you're gone, and your wig is left in the like,
and your Apple Watch, everything is that what appears that you could be tracked.
That's Amber Alert at best.
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more about what's been happening. But in the meantime, I just have to talk to you guys about this gentleman by the name of Travis King, a U.S. soldier who pulled a Harriet Tubman and ran into North Korea from South Korea on Tuesday, willfully and without any kind of authorization, huh?
Much to the surprise of people who were standing there going like, wait, is he about to run across the border?
What is going on? So King was a private second class who had been a cavalry scout with the U.S. Army since 2021. And he's 23 years old, and he was stationed in South Korea, but he had recently served 2 months in prison there on charges of assault. Right. According to the South Korean media outlets reports, King had punched a South Korean national in a club in September and had been fined 5 million won, which is about, I don't know, close to $4,000 for causing public damage and being uncooperative with police during his arrest. He was scheduled to be flown home to the United States, I guess, to face court-martial or whatever other punishment that was coming. But instead of going to his gate when he was at the airport, somehow he found his way back into South Korea, back into the main populace, and joined a tour group that was headed towards the demilitarized zone.
Right.
Sarah Leslie, who is a tourist who was from New Zealand, said that she was with the tour group that King was in. And she said the tour was was just milling about. People were just hanging out, getting close to the border. And all of a sudden, she saw this man run like full gas, like his life depended on it, and he crossed into the North Korean side.
It's a mess.
North Korean side is like the communist side, like they ain't the friendly side. Anyway, he escaped whatever was gonna happen to him, and now he is believed to be in custody of North Korea. And now America is freaking out because we don't know what to do with him or what to do about him. Because North Korea is showing they're behind with nuclear testing and whatnot, and now we have a potential hostage situation. So, as always, we'll watch this and give you guys any kind of updates as they come through. But what's that?
It's a lot to be said on that, and the fact that I don't think because of what they've said about his past that America is going to be so forthcoming to find out where he is or how he's doing.
Well, and it also raises the question as to whether or not the country, I mean, he is a citizen, first and foremost. He did not lose his citizenship by crossing that border. But it does raise the question as to whether or not the country will respond in the same way around someone who is being detained unwillfully versus someone who intentionally ran across a border. Like he wasn't over there and no one grabbed him and pulled him over there.
He did it on his own. So, stupid is what stupid is.
Oh, wow.
And
whatever he was trying to escape, like now he's made it worse because he's not welcome in that country. He's an illegal immigrant and hostile, right? Like they don't look favorably upon the U.S. So he's created a lot of trouble for himself, and it's not going to help. Whatever like disciplinary action he was about to find. So
poor Travis. The things that are making these headlines this week. We
move forward. Bring it a little closer to home in the state of Virginia. That's closest to Alvin and me, not too far from Vash up in Pennsylvania. But the governor, Junkin, has just recently released some student policies around transgender students that have made the headlines and deemed as pretty controversial. Much of the policy revolves around students, two aspects of transgender students' lives in schools, including not being able to or being forced to use like restroom facilities that are connected to your birth gender, your designated birth gender at birth, and also not being able to use names that are outside of what are officially printed on your transcript. So you wouldn't be able to use a designated name or change your pronouns without written consent from parents. And so it also places teachers. And I can tell you as an educator who works at a school, an independent school that has policies around being able to support children throughout the course of the day by honoring these things as best we can. But even we who do not fall under this current policy have begun to really kind of revisit and figure out the ways in which we can both support students and engage parents appropriately as well. But many advocates suggest that this policy is one that puts the day-to-day existence of transgender students, or just students who are really trying to understand who they are in terms of their identity, at great risk.
All I can say to that is amen, and he's wrong. And my heart goes out to parents right now who have kids who are in a position or situation of trying to find themselves. And, at every juncture, it seems like you have a youngkin somewhere trying to tell a parent how to raise their child and, taking opportunities away from them. It's really sad to hear that. It's just, that's one of those stories that I just shake my head because I don't know what to do.
And he's doing it under the guise, Alvin, of that this is what's in the best interest of the kids. But as was pointed out by one of our producers, he's been campaigning, or he campaigned when he was running, a lot about empowering parents, giving rights back to parents to make some of these decisions concerning their kids. And it's just, it very much reminds me of legislators who say that, when they're banning affirming information, resources in school, that they're doing it in the best interest of kids. And yet they seem to move quite slowly when it comes to weapons that are the number one source of danger to students in schools in America. They don't see how not responding to that is negligence versus making sure that a drag queen can't read a book to a child in a school. They see
It's
that
overreach.
Oh, point taken.
Right,
Yeah.
like that's overreach, whereas the other one is complete negligence.
Wow.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
schools are supposed to be safe spaces for kids.
For kids.
And, you know, they're just really overreaching in ways that don't support kids. But within the LGBTQIA plus movement for decades, the tactic of saying, "Oh, we're trying to protect the children," has always been a tactic that they've tried to use, and we always diffuse it because older gay people come from young gay people, and the older gay people are trying to tell everybody what the younger gay people and trans people, etc., need to feel safe, secure, and to grow up well-adjusted and be productive members of society.
And speaking on behalf of those who chose to take their lives as a result of not feeling that they had any possibility of living authentically.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So
thank you, guys.
Yeah. Well, another strike has been averted. I just want to congratulate the members of IATSE because a tentative deal was reached on Thursday between union representatives and all of the stagehands and workers on Broadway and the producers and theater owners and operators. They could have shut down 28 shows on Broadway and 17 touring companies, but they came together, figured it out, and at least some actors and producers and people are going to continue working. I truly, truly hope that the motion picture producers and the television producers and the streaming companies get it together and realize that executives of some of these streaming companies do not need to be making $200 million and $100 million, knowing very well that the people who are creating that content are not getting paid and can't live. I mean, we got to ship this stuff back. So thank you, Broadway. Thank you, IATSE. Thank you for showing the light and giving us hope that we can all make all of this work.
Amen. Don't take away my Broadway. I'm just getting in the groove, and so that was good news to hear. I'm glad that started and ended quickly. So thank you.
And can we live in a world where we really give consideration, particularly in America, what deemed the most wealthy nation among nations, to just be able to allow people to earn wages that allow them to live? These are not people who are trying to own yachts and so forth. They just want to make a decent wage. And we know that there are certain cities in particular in America that the cost of living is prohibitive for a lot of people. And writers and actors and people who entertain us, you know, we pay a lot of money to go see these people, and they should certainly be compensated in a way that allows them to live with dignity. I think that's really important.
Amen. Okay. Amen.
So now that allows us to move on to another little bit of controversy that some of us have watched for some time, and that is the contested will and final wishes of one Aretha Franklin. We are aware that in 2010, there was supposedly some will that was located that apparently the Queen left in terms of her wishes. But recently, a will was found in a couch. In a couch. Her second will, signed in 2014, was found in a couch. And the first will leaned in the direction of offering most of the benefits to one son. And this will tended to offer more benefits to another son. Well, they've been in court working this, and obviously it's been a source of contention within the family, but the jury has finally made its verdict, and it is honoring this couch will. Again, signed in 2014. It is being seen as valid and being honored, and so that is where we are. She has three sons. One son seemed to be more, as I said, the beneficiary in one will versus the other. She does have one son that has special needs who is being taken care of under a particular designated guardianship. But after many years and believing that she did not have a will at all, indeed, there were two wills, and it is the handwritten couch will that in the end is being honored and allowing hopefully the family to move forward.
And not only is it like the couch will, but the way she signed it, she signed everything with a smiley face.
With a little bit of smile.
With a smiley face. She didn't sign it Aretha Franklin. She signed everything a smiley face, and that's how they were able to determine that it was a legitimate document, because it was the way she signs everything with a smiley face.
But can you imagine? No. The Queen of Soul is lying on the couch watching Netflix and writing her will, and all of a sudden it just kind of slips down in the middle of the pillows, and
she put it where she put her money. She told them pay her in cash. Aretha Franklin, you paid her in cash. She did not believe in.
And she also had the money on stage with
her, right, in her pocketbook. So you know what I'm saying. So okay, come on now.
Come on, Detroit.
Come on, Detroit. Okay. Well, you know, moving right along from one celebrity to another.
Yes.
I just want to let you know, as you all know, Beyonce is doing her North American tour, but it came out today that she also has a new fragrance that's coming out. It has not been named, and it's coming out in November. But she surprised her fans the other night and told them about the new fragrance, and the teaser is on her website. So for those of you who are looking for some Renaissance fragrance, Beyonce is coming out with it, and
I know what it's called.
What is it? What's it going to be called, Vash? Please help me.
Passive income. That's what it's called.
Say that, please say that again with a straight face.
Passive income.
Okay, lots of income. Okay.
Passive income. Hi, this is Beyonce. Buy my fragrance. Passive income. That's what it's called.
Well, while she's out bringing in the income, she's not alone, ladies and gentlemen. For you up in New York, the Carters are doing their darn thing, and right now at the Public Library is pleased to present the Book of Hove, an installation created by Rock Nation to celebrate the life and work of Sean Jay-Z Carter, one of Brooklyn's most influential figures. Jay-Z has shaped and consistently redefined hip-hop music and culture on a global scale. Yep. And the good news about this, about what is happening here and why the library is doing it, as part of the celebration and in honor of Jay-Z's unparalleled body of work, Brooklyn Public Library and Rock Nation have joined forces to create 13 limited edition library cards, each featuring art from an iconic Jay-Z album. From Reasonable Doubt to four was the exclamation, 4 semicolon 44. Visitors can collect all 13 cards, and they're available right now at the Brooklyn Library. So it's nothing short. You guys can find something to do. Okay, Jay-Z wants everybody to go to the library. So, what did Judy say? Judy
was there. She saw the exhibit.
She was at the Brooklyn Museum on Sunday.
Yeah,
and so, how was it, Judy?
Come on, Judy, give us some feedback.
Come on now, come on now. Yes, let us know. We want to hear.
Did you get a new library card?
I'm coming up to see it, just to take a look. So, kudos to the Carter. She said, "Wonderful."
Nice.
See, right here.
Excellent.
Okay.
It looked amazing. Okay. Well, look, I want to talk about Tony Bennett because one of the most beloved voices in history has died at the age of 96.
Today.
Well, he was 96 and less than 2 weeks shy of his 97th birthday.
Yep.
And still married.
Yeah. He was born Anthony Dominic Benedetto on August 3rd, 1926 in Astoria, Queens. And he got his start in music after having studied singing at the American Theater Wing. And it's reported that he was discovered by the legendary Pearl Bailey, who hired him to open for her in 1949. A year later, Bennett began to make his own mark on music, recording with Columbia Records, with hits such as Rags to Riches and Because of You. But his signature song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, arrived in 1962 as a B-side, and it launched him into the A-list and won him his first of 20 Grammys. So as popular music evolved, Bennett's style fell out of fashion, and by the 80s, audiences just kind of backed away. And during that period, Bennett got heavily involved in drugs.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
In the 90s, he kicked the habit cold turkey and got back into music. And he was really, truly embraced wholeheartedly by the MTV generation.
Yeah.
When he recorded those series of duets with the popular pop stars.
Yeah.
And in 1994, on Unplugged on MTV, he got a Grammy for that work and Album of the Year. In 2016, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but that didn't stop him from recording music. And his popularity got another boost when he began recording and performing with his good friend and collaborator, Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Bennett died in his hometown in New York City, and he'll be remembered as one of the greatest crooners who ever picked up a microphone. We say goodbye to Mr. Tony Bennett. He will definitely.
Cheers to Tony Bennett.
Rest well, Tony Bennett. I got a chance to see the tour with him and Lady Gaga here at the Kennedy Center, and it was just an incredible. That was 2015. I can't believe that. So he must have gotten sick right after that. But that was an incredible show. Wow, and so many wonderful collaborations.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It was ingenious. It was a genius recreation.
Yeah.
Genius. And I didn't know that he was on drugs. You guys just told me something, or
almost 10 years. Yeah, it was like a long time. Uppers, downers, sleepers. He said he was doing anything and everything. And I guess to fill a void. I mean, when you show up and all of a sudden you're like embraced and loved for doing what you do, and then just music changes in such a way that you can't really compete. And yet he stayed true to himself and came back and did these duets with all kinds of people. Chrissy Hyde from The Pretenders. I think he did one with Blondie. Queen Latifah. Yeah, like it was really an amazing.
Amy Winehouse too. I wondered.
Who I heard he was close to as well.
Yeah. That was a good collaboration.
It also speaks to the fickleness of the American public. Like he was so beloved and then kind of tossed aside, but he recreated himself and he came back. And I don't know if either of you happened to see the interview that he did with Anderson Cooper for 60 Minutes.
I did.
But it was a really fascinating look at how Alzheimer's had affected him, because during the interview, there were times, and of course his wife was by his side, he struggled to kind of communicate with Anderson, one-on-one kind of interview style. But when it was time for him to sing, like, because Anderson like asked him if he would perform, like the music came back to him. Like once he was singing, it was like he was his old self, which is this amazing thing that the music never seemed to leave him. And when he was touring with Lady Gaga, they were saying like sometimes he would get confused on or before the stage, but when he got on the stage, they were like, there were no cue cards, there were no, he just did it. It was just in him.
Well, thank you guys. We are nearing the end of our show. Bobby and Vash, thank you once again for a great show. As we always have, Rodney said he was the last of the greats. Frank, Nat, Johnny.
Yeah.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will have with us author Robert Jones Jr., also referred to as the son of Baldwin, with his New York Times best-selling novel, The Prophets, for a candid discussion about his novel of the forbidden union between two enslaved young men on a deep South plantation, the refuge they find in each other, and the betrayal that threatens their existence. Robert Jones will be here next week, and I'm telling you, it's a great book. I'm almost done. I cannot wait to finish it. And our words of the week: Control, Alt, Delete. Control yourself, alter your thinking, and delete negativity. How about that? Okay. Control, Alt, Delete. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Happy birthday, Vash.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next week on a new episode of Think Pink. No, He said.
Pink said.
We said.
We said.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody.